trade, I ain't mad at the signs, cause I'm grateful for the lesson every single time. Surrounded by the three W's, yeah, that's my guide. Why I move with purpose, what keeps me alive. When I close the trade, I ain't mad at the signs, cause I'm grateful for the lesson every single time. Surrounded by the three W's, yeah, that's my guide. Why I move with purpose, what keeps me alive. When I close the trade, I ain't mad at the signs, cause I'm grateful for the lesson every single time. Surrounded by the three. All right, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of that BYTTT Get Rich If It Try and Smash Up. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. That way you can know when I am online and let you know that I got some gems. That's what that algorithm is looking for. Trying to find out where the gems at. That said, Market's doing some very fun stuff early up in the morning. Let's go ahead and get right to it. I know I'm a little tardy to the party, but fashionably late is always good. Let's see what we got so far. So this was yesterday, not yesterday, Friday's opening range breakouts, and you can kind of see we had the Asian that was in there, and that one. You got to see there was a nice little spike of that happened towards the end of the day, and you could kind of see they're trying to build a base down here, so we could assume. If you ever been on the show before, we do opening range breakouts, and the opening range is set as such, looking like this. And let's go ahead and set that up. And we would be bullish above this level if the 15-minute candle was over. And Stranger Danger would be sitting at 264, which is the white line. Don't know what happens there, but for some reason, it's a black hole and a baseball bat all at the same time. And then we got the bearish line right below at 25.33. 25.234. That said, let me go ahead and bring in my theme music. That way we have this going in the background. Where the market wants to go. Round and round we go, right? We were rounding all the way to the upside with a nice little gap. They filled the gap, and then we spiked up, and then they just dumped it off like a bad habit. I'm going to see how they build this base here. I want to keep this here, but I don't want to confuse y'all. So we're going to get rid of last week's. And we're just going to keep an eye. We'll find a spot wherever we can. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? What up, Javi? Hey, Carl. How you doing? Good morning. Welcome to the game of patience. Let me see if there's any tickers that I care to look at. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the 4-hour did something very interesting, and I kind of warned people. I was like, hey, you know, that 1 hour needs, that 100,000 needs to hold. Let me get rid of these. This is old. Get rid of that. And we're struggling with that. So you could kind of see we're building a little bit of continuation. If you're going to short Bitcoin, I would say you probably missed out on it. But if it does give you a nice little entry, a retest of 87,455, and then you could kind of smack it right back down. I think the TP is going to be around 83,000. But if you don't want to go ahead and play that game, then by all means, wait for this to kind of give a nice little reversal above 90,000, and then you should be safe. Another one is Ethereum. When Bitcoin moves, Ethereum falls with it. Let me see. I want to do it from the future side, so don't mind me. And then this is what we're looking at. Now, this one does look like it wants to kind of give you a retest at that 28.66. If it does, look for it to be shorted, going down to 26.79. See what the oscillator is. A little tired. We'll see. We will see. Let's get back over to NQ. NQ is still pushing in it to the upside. See how this is looking. Yeah, they're making it a nice and difficult. It looked like we was going to go ahead and fall to the downside a little bit, but they kind of reloaded at certain pivots. They swept some levels here. I'm going to see how well they hold. I'm looking at a level of 25,233 as a very interesting one. That's right around our opening range. And then right below it is 25,210. On the top side, I'm looking at a level of 25.33 and 25.341. We'll see how that goes. Still pushing on up. Let's see how they treat the 300 level. Now, if you don't remember, that 300 level was really a tough area. Let me squeeze this chart a little bit. This was during Thanksgiving. They used that area as a place to kind of reload for the upside, and that's what was that move. Massive sell-off brought us back under it. So what was previous support can be resistance. So I would say for the most part, maybe I'll do it on a 4-hour just to kind of get a little sense. Something like this of an order block. Where are you? Right here. Something like this. Yeah, I think something like this of an order block would be kind of cool if we're going to do that as a rejection area. And we're already starting to pull back on that 300. Let's see how that goes. Patience, patience, patience. Let's come back over to the 15-minute for our opening range. Let's see how that works. So I think this area is going to be a very tough one. That is a 4-hour order block. Let's see if we get another test up into here. We got 5 more minutes until this 15 minutes is over. Let's talk some tickers. NVIDIA. We had a setup on the 30-minute. And this was... I don't have that chart. I'm gonna figure it out. Bear with me. Yep, I think I got it in the right spot. Yep, got it in the right spot. So it basically triggered saying, hey, time to take your profits. So if you actually took this off of Wednesday with a nice close on Friday, that kind of gave you that first inclination, you should be good to go. I did have Google for a smidge. Maybe I should have played it again. For a smidge, and then it kind of retraced into itself. Probably going to go ahead and give me my TP1 right now. Now that I think about it, I forgot about this trade setup. But you can kind of see, we tested it. Looking for a solid close inside of here. It's going to happen on the 15-minute, so kind of ran away from it for the most part. Don't know if I want to try to take that there again, but the target, if you are in this side, is 315. See if we can get there. And I think that's all I have for you right now. We'll come back to some more tickers in a little bit. All right, so we got a nice little sell-off that's still happening towards the end of this 5-minute. They're putting applied pressure for this downside. Let's see how well this works. really starting to like range this thing out. Using that order block as a nice little rejection point. That probably could have been the play for us to kind of toy with a scalp. But I'm trying to be patient, waiting for our setup for that opening range. Let's see if there's anything else in the 4 hour that I need to keep an eye on. We're well balanced here. I would say if anything, our real target would be somewhere around here, 24,560. That's probably what they would aim for if this thing falls a certain type of way. All right, we got 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Let's run through the indices a little bit. Oil looks like this. They are trying to find a way to build their base. The holidays are in, so people going to travel. This is usually around the time that natural gas, I don't know if y'all ever play NG. Winter is coming, no pun intended, but winter is coming, so it kind of pulls up to the upside here, and that's what we're getting with natural gas right now. And that also affects oil, so that's another one that you want to kind of keep an eye on. We got gold. Oops, wrong one. We got gold. Gold has solidified that 4,000 and is trying to really hold that level. And then we got silver that's dragging it right on to the upside. Silver got new highs, but gold don't have new highs. If silver starts to sell off here, it can really, and I promise you, it drags gold all over the place. So keep an eye on silver and on its response. And then we got ourselves the British pound. British pound is struggling to kind of push to the upside. And then we got ourselves Bitcoin, which is struggling to hold that 90,000, which is telling us more downside is probably on the way. And then we got ourselves Russell. That doesn't look like they're taking money out of NQ and pouring into the Russell. It does not look like that. So we could be just coming out of the economy. And then we got the US dollar. That thing has been dropping. And nope, wrong thing. That's NQ. Let's fix that. DXY. We got the dollar, and this thing has been dropping. It's coming to a level of support. But if you can see, this is an M pattern, folks. If that dollar starts to drop off, look for more upside, and that could power up that Santa rally. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get back over to NQ. Got less than a minute left. Nice little push here. We got our range. In 11 seconds. Yeah, this one right here is our London. Very interesting. It's almost like we made a very wide range here. Let's see what happens with stranger danger. Do we get rejected around there? That would make things interesting because the London will have that same effect there. And for Asian session, it is over here. Right there. Asian session is all the way here. So let's see what happens there. Let me bring some of my lines over. See what they do with that. Lots of sell side liquidity was here, but they stepped up to the plate and kind of baseball batted. All right, so we got stranger danger. It cannot hold it down, so they might try to recover it here. Let's get rid of this line. At 211 price was a toughie. They're trying to take the sell side liquidity. All right, look for a reload here because, like I said, this is that order block that was tough. If they get through here, then we'll probably get all that sell side liquidity, but that pivot point will be tough. There's our pivot right there. Took a little quick scalp for like 17 bucks on that one, but rejection is not as strong as I think, and I think it's because they wicked it through low too far, which kind of affects our our pivot right there. I would take another shot at it, but I think I'm gonna just wait for a little bit and see if we can get the range. Cause I was gonna play the reversal. Very interesting price action is happening right now. They're trying to get to the sell side liquidity, having a little hard time. It keeps getting smacked around this 300 level. Their goal, if they are going to go up, is to try to stay above that London high of 314. We're almost there. Redeploy some cash. I had some overnight puts from a few days ago. We're not breaking no structure, so let me just get out the way. Look like we're getting a strong opening range here, but we're very volatile. So I'm gonna really wait for that 5 minute to close above there. Release. That's my guy. They want to smack this back down again. Got 2 minutes and 1 minute and 58 seconds before our 15-minute candle closes. That's our 5-minute closes. But we're gonna get a new 4-hour candle very soon. And right now it looks very weakish. Like they're trying to take back up and then get back into here, and they kind of failed that already. Very close to getting it done though, so we'll see what happens. Part of the reason why I kind of trimmed off of those puts. This is our 15-minute. That's our 5-minute, attempting to close above there. All right, that's the top of my trend line that I kind of drew out from this morning, as they're trying to hold that order block on 300. All right, we got a solid 5-minute close above. I'm gonna see if I can find a solid entry for upside, but we are very drifty. I really don't like it. Let's see if we can get some sense of a pullback retest, and then we'll get in. If not, this was the entry to liquidate the previous bears, and they run away with it, but that's if. We're way too overheated. Like this is the 5-minute just starting, but this thing can curl right back over, so that's what I'm afraid of. So I want to find a place where I can get some solid footing and support before they try to hit this target, which is one of my targets inside of here. We've now adjusted pivots. Let me fix that. Oh, great. This thing's acting silly. Let's get rid of you. And that's that one. Yeah, if you jumped in this on the momentum of it, congratulations. Just looking for something that can give me a little bit of a pullback before we got to this target, but we already got it. The risk to reward wasn't really there, and I don't know how deep we're going to get into here, because this is such a strong candle. They may retake the whole thing because the 4-hour is curling up and we're relatively bullish, but Better safe than sorry. Still no pullback. Not for my entry. Alright, so we pretty much took out all that sell side liquidity here. Looking like a W. The extension for the W should bring us to about right here. And give me a spot and I'll join you. Oosa. This could be a nice little scalp to the downside, but it didn't give us that. Alright. Some of my oscillators did reset. Let's see if we can build a base somewhere around here. Oh, no. I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be it for that entry for upside. They're getting real deep into this. I didn't expect that deep. They're eliminating a 5-minute fair value gap. Not a great sign, but kind of. Let's see if I can reverse here. Yeah, I agree. We are creating a breakout session. Alright, I'm taking a stab here for upside. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, that block is tough. Yeah, I figured. Oh, oh. I was just about to close it out. Let's see. Back to break even. Oh, it might be alright. Okay. Alright. That's all you got? Alright, that could work. Oh, you're fighting. Oh, that. Oh, damn! That's, let me take that. That was like a good $200-300 right there. Perfect. Damn, that was a hit. That was at 10 o'clock. Damn, I'll take that. No problem. Can't go wrong with that. Did you take a stab at that, Javi? Yeah, that was a tricky one. I wanted them to pull this back again one more time so I can be able to jump back in, but I guess that's as much of a pullback I was going to get because now we're putting in a 5-minute fair value gap again. We got this one here and this one here. That was a good hit. Good spike.
What's up? What's up? Oh, y'all just took the open range breakout, huh?
Yeah, I was hesitant here, but when we had this pullback into this candle, we put in an attempt at a fair value gap. I kind of caught that spike that just hit right there. That was a good $200 moves on micro.
Nice, nice.
How about you? Did you catch anything?
I'm just tuning in.
All right, no worries, no worries. There'll be more plays.
I'm just tuning in myself. I had an impromptu meeting. I missed it all.
No worries.
I
That
was getting ready for it too.
the markets will give more opportunities. All right, so we're in a very interesting spot. We're between two different order blocks. The first order block is the one that's previous. Asian already proved that this has some legs to it, so we could come all the way back down and retest the bullish line, which we are starting to test right now, or at least test the fair value gaps. And then we got the order block under us, which is what we built during Thanksgiving in that yellow area right under our opening range. So this area is going to be very liquid, like I think, but we'll see how that goes. And you see how we're already coming down even harder. The sellers are really trying to put some pressure on them. 15 minute was about to cross over to the downside. They're curling this at the 50, so they're trying to midway grab sell side liquidity. No divergence, but it's what they plotted on. 2 hours is a little overheated and still on the bullish side. Likewise with the 4 hour. And if we look at the daily is still relatively bearish, hence the reason why it's probably a little choppy. Um, but we're fighting with both people, basically, the bears and the bulls. All right. Got a minute and 5 seconds. Let's see if they can recapture this because some of my oscillators did reset. We would have to probably cross 360 for us to push back up again. You see how they're trying to recapture because they notice they can't get this low right here. This one's giving trouble. They know if this falls, we'll probably test even as far as here or test here. I would love it to test 289. That would be a really, really good spot for it to test, but we'll see. Mm. Yeah, could have took a scalp down there. Came back, filled that fair value gap. I think we're gonna go to 289 or 322, one or the other. All right, here's the attempt of them trying to grab the sell side liquidity that just stepped in there. All right, they're trying to hold that 350 psychological level real heavy. We might get a spike up to the upside. Oh, as I was setting it up. All right, let's see what they do with this. This is the selling area. I got an oscillator that's reset it already. 5 minute doesn't really look like it has a lot of strength here. I really wanted to test 289 before we try to go up some more. I think we're done with the steam off of the muscle that came in from here. We'll see. If not, all that sell side liquidity is going to get taken right now. Which then our entry should have been way back over inside of here-ish. Thought about it, but not going to do that one. I was going to go ahead and short against it because it looked like we're just getting weak, and I could have my stop loss real tight here. But every time it shows a little bit of weakness, let me come down to a 1 minute. You can see what I'm talking about. Every time it shows a little weakness with the wicks, it keeps on making a higher high on the 1 minute. So even though it's showing selling, 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 it's like it just overtakes it, overtakes it, overtakes it, and we're still making higher highs. So be patient. That one might be it. This might be the pullback into it. Oh, they said no. Sweeping sell side liquidity. Hey. Smacked again. Off that 370. 370 looks to be formidable. Breaks 365. Oh, that. I think we dropped. This thing might drops. That's the sweep. Damn it.
Is there milk?
It's in the fridge.
Bring it to me.
It's right there.
Right where?
They already bought up the dip. Mm-hmm. No release. Patience. I don't even have any signals going. That's how choppy we are right now. Nothing's moving. Just slow rip to the upside. All right, they're gonna try to take sell side liquidity here. Good attempt. Mm-hmm. I'm about to go over to the 5 minute right now and mark off this whole range. Because right now it's like we have this as our block. I want to get fancy and go up here, but I think this is safer. Yeah, I'll keep it here. Okay, what is going on? Why is my chart acting stupid right now? I just took off my lines. Okay, there we go. There we go. Back to normal. And now we're back above the block. Very rising wedge like. Not too much of a fan of this. Oh, that was a good hit right there. Nice solid move. That was $100. Came back through the anomaly, closed inside the box, grabbed a nice little scalp, pushed right down to the downside. We may fall a little bit deeper, but I was pushing my stop loss in the profit because technically we're still bullish. However way you want to look at it, especially with this W pattern. So this could be just them coming in just so that they can sweep and get that extension. For the W, let's do a nice little measurement. That way y'all prepared. And that's our W. And this is our breakout. 50% of that move will bring us close to that white line right there. So I would say probably here. Could it go lower? It could. Could it sweep lower? Absolutely. But that was a scalp. So we're going to run a trade this accordingly. Starting to break out of that box again. That fair value gap right here is the one that's saving it. We closed inside. We should be pushing up. But I have some bearish sentiment to this. Because we're sitting under that bigger order block here. So it's W versus bearish sentiment. See how this area here, it's just real tough for them to get the rest of that W. But that's their target. We got like a good 75 to maybe 80% of it filled for the W. Because that'll be your breakout right here. That'll be 100% of your move. So we're slightly off of it. Maybe even 65. I would say 65% maybe. All right. Came out the anomaly a little bit. Could dump here. There's a lot of pressure coming in now. All right, we're at the bottom of the block. Let's see what they do with it. We almost got to the bottom of it. They just slightly tapped it. You need one more push. If not, they might hit the top of that block again. That's why this one was so much stronger, because we were coming off of making a fresh high. And then that thing kind of gave it some momentum. Might have to journal that. All right. Got another anomaly test. Kind of poked out of here. And then, oh, maybe they loading up, trying to push it down. Let's see if we can come back to our low, which would bring us to 346. Yeah, 1020. Actually, yeah, 1020. We'll run through some tickers for some longer investment. I want to plan for next year, and since this market is not really moving for some impactful moves, we could use that opportunity to go ahead and see what we find out there. We got 53 seconds till this 5-minute candle closes. All right, we're back inside of it again. They're really trying to get out that sell side liquidity. It flashes. Oh, what did you just flash? That thing is moving very janky. I should never have stepped into this one. Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that. Come on, push one more time. Push it one more time. That's it. That was very painful to. Okay, whew. I think it flashed saying I lost $100. Oh, maybe I should have held on to that thing. All right, back to the bottom of that order block. All right, that was a little annoying. That was annoying. They must have reloaded on me while I was there. See if we can break the box. Coming to the bottom of it, and they're catching it. You see how they caught it? And that's what I was saying. Like these order blocks, it's, I guess the metaphor I'm always use is it's like two kids fighting, one bullish, one bearish, and you could get slapped in the face while you're trying to, pick a side. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Nice solid drop. Let's see if we get a continuation. Brings us back down. They're trying to hold for that. Bring us back into that fair value gap. Maybe even come back here. They might double bottom here. I know I sound very contradictory, but right now it's time to be bullish and bearish at the same time. We're choppy. Oh man, this might print something nice to the downside, right? Oh, yeah, that was it. That was it. That was the move. As soon as that 1 minute candle came in, let me show y'all what I mean. Look at what price action did. You're like, listen, we're going to this level. We're going to get it. We're going to get up here. So that means you need to hold above the block, right? We already know every time it comes in here, we sell. When it comes back in here, we buy, we sell. We slowly buy, get outside of there, stay away, and then we sell again, and then we buy again, and then we sell again. So whenever it closes inside of here, like when it closed inside of here, guess what it did? Came down some more. This time it didn't close in there. They used it as a reload, went even higher. And when we closed in here, it made this candle. When we closed in here, it made that wick. Like this is the, oh, wait a minute. I'm still on YouTube. Too much gems. Hold on. Let me stop. But I tell how to play inside of here. Let me tone it down a bit. All right, let's talk about tickers. Let's talk about tickers. Okay. So I got a list of overvalued and undervalued tickers I'm keeping my eyes on. If we look over here, this is gold. This is one of the mining companies. I think they're overvalued for the most part, but that's just because gold has been running. So it's going to be very interesting on how the market responds to this. I think it needs a pullback before we could go ahead and get into that. So that's where the overvalue comes in play. AMD, they try to fill the gap. This is way overvalued in more ways than one because everybody's running into tech, semis, and of course AI. So this is where this kind of comes to play. Apple is at 270, and I think they're probably the safer AI play because they haven't really made their business around AI. They just kind of supplement it like a subscription for the most part. So it's just going to only make Apple better. You still have their phones, you still have their loyalty, and all of that. But it's still overvalued. Need to see a pullback over here. You can kind of see this was our pullback on the stochastic. It kind of gave us a nice little push up. See what happens there. Things that are overvalued, and I think they already started to do their pullback. Shopify. You got a nice little push right here. And what did they do? Already came down. Kind of build a base here, but it is a little bit of a lower low from this level. So got to see what the market wants to do with that information. Do they want to dump it off? It is bearish on the daily. Palantir. Now, there's some good things to think about for Palantir because, again, they get government contracts. This thing will always be safe. So there is, these pullbacks are usually pullbacks for reinvesting in. So I think this is one of those where the overvalued has initiated, hence the drop off after making their $200 high. I think this is their base that they're trying to build right here. So as long as it stays above 153, no matter how much they reset the oscillator, you should be good to go. What else I have here? Amazon, for more reasons than one, I am at. Oh, I did not go back. Hold on, gotta go back over to NQ. Should have kept my eye on NQ.
Morning.
Hey, good morning. Nice rejection, and we're back inside of the opening range. That was the play to try to play it down on some quick. Woof! Look at that move. Let's come to the 1 minute so I can kind of point this out. That's what I mean about these order blocks. Like, yeah, you could play inside of here a whole bunch of times, right? But what you don't want to do is get used to it. Because if you were thinking, hey, we're going to close inside of here, you could kind of see we never closed inside of there. So there was no way for it to kind of push right back up. Now, do we reload here, then close inside the block? That will then signal off sell side liquidity is available. So we'll see. We will see. If we close inside of this block, that's that Turkey Day block. Right on Wednesday we did all of this. See what they do with that. All right, let's run back over to these tickers. Tesla. Everybody wants $500 Tesla. I know y'all want it. That's perfectly fine. Got a bit of a downtrend, and it's running its head into a little bit of a brick wall here. Can it sell off here? Yeah, maybe. If it gets like a top wick here, even if it's green, we're in the bear side of the MACD. So this can really give you some momentum to be pushed right back down to the downside. We'll see. Undervalued. Adobe. They got way too many suites, way too many products for them to completely fall off a cliff. Are they losing their moat and market share? Yes. Is there a lot of competition for them? Yes. But if you want to take a nice little gamble on a solid company, I would say Adobe has been dropped off a cliff. Let me come to the monthly and see it a little bit better. And if this M pattern happens, yeah, then I could probably believe that they're going to go ahead and come down, maybe into like the 150s. But I don't think they're a DocuSign. Oof. Jeez. They're a one-trick pony over here at DocuSign. I don't think that that's the case, but the charts are very similar. after the pandemic, selling off because nobody's doing those e-signatures. People are seeing each other face to face now. And then you get the competition that comes in and will take away from your market cap. And Adobe was one that took away from DocuSign. They came with Adobe Sign, right? So just kind of keep an eye on that. Nice bottom base right here. So I think if there's any gems here, this is one that is delayed and it's undervalued status. Let me give you one more over there in YouTube space. General Mills, I think it already started. It's undervalued state. I think if a recession kicks in, then this will start to kick off. But until then, yeah. And then this is the pandemic. People had to get their cereal. Is it 30? No, it's not 30. I'll do one more. All right, and then this is CVX. CVX, I think oil as a whole is just delayed, right? You could pretty much throw a pin on this. Oxy, well, Warren Buffett divested just a little bit, so that's probably going to give some opportunities if you want to go ahead and pick this off the ground after he shaved his profits. Who else? Zom. That's another one. Now, this one kind of started trending sideways a little bit, but I think they're undervalued based on $114. I can see this thing being 125, 130 again, somewhere around that ballpark. They do other things outside of fuel. That's the reason. But things like BP, they're international, so it gets a little tricky. So they have less of an effect. But I would say keep an eye on CVX. I think it's probably one of the ones that's in the lower side of it. And I think this is their base at 148. Maybe aim for 161 in that gap. I think that's probably the play. We'll see. All right, I want to say thank you very much, YouTube, for chiming in with me. Don't forget, we are here every morning at 9:15, all the way up until about 10:15. That's the goal, but we kind of spilled over today. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Let your friends know that I am online, and I'm always dropping gems whenever I can. And I will see you tomorrow. Yeah, have a great day. Bye-bye.